So I was talking about this with some friends of mine at California Institute for Human Sciences, which is a small institute in near San Diego, and they do various research, mostly on parapsychology and stuff. But they have a institutional review board that can ratify and research study and protect human subjects and so forth. So I was talking to them about it because I wanted to do a clinical study of ultrasound versus control. And they said, Helena Wabe was the researcher. She said, what we should really do first is just operationalize Sterling's study. Take what he's doing and get those people to sign consent forms to do what they're doing, and we record the data. And we'll, because we have all this information which we can use. So that's what we did. So we've had the study going for about a year now, but we did insist on the patients getting permission from their doctor. So we couldn't be accused of stealing patients. And doctors, probably reluctant. What's this crazy shit? So it's hard to get patients in, but we have enough patients, and we haven't cracked the code yet to see the results, but it seems like patients are doing well, and we've had no negative effects. So we want to do the next step and try this for either a double-blind controlled or larger scale studies. So I've actually been talking to my friend Sue Schneider at Florida Atlantic University, who's in touch with the medical people there and some funding people. So we're going to hopefully start that study, kind of develop that idea here in Florida.
How long has the testing been going on in San Diego, and how many people?
About a year, I don't know, 20 or so. Not that many yet, because, but Sterling has more that we can't count because they weren't part of the study.
And do you think this could hypothetically be used to reverse cognitive decline or things like CTE injuries from concussions, things like that?
Yeah, I don't know about CTE, but there's a pretty good literature. A lot of people have been using ultrasound now for Alzheimer's, although in different ways, at medium doses, which I think is too much, focused at one area or another, which I don't think is necessary. So nobody but us has done this unfocused, low intensity bit, which is basically do it yourself, because as you said, you could buy this. The US Pro 2000 is a handheld device. Low intensity is 700 milliwatts per square centimeter, so below the...
Look at that bad boy.
That's it. Yeah.
How much does that think, Steve?
$150.
Wow. Look at that.
Now, the butterfly is used...
I'll take two.
Yeah. You can get a used one for $50.
That's amazing.
Butterfly is expensive because you get imaging. The US Pro 2000, $159.95 is...
And look at that. It's got a 4.5-star review.
Yeah.
Do you ever use this? Have you used it?
Yeah,
really?
I have one. I use it for jet lag, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
And you can tell a difference.
It seems that it's a lot jet lag. It gives you a little buzz, and yeah. And,
you got one in the car?
No, unfortunately, I forgot it. I gave my last one away. I got to get some new ones, but I may be back actually because to get the study going at Florida Atlantic in Boca Raton.
Wow.
So, we're trying to get people to do it. And, the drug companies and the Alzheimer's Foundation, the Alzheimer's Society, and so-called charities, I think, are in the pocket of the drug companies, because I write them and they don't respond. And they keep pushing these, we got a new anti-amyloid drug. This one's going to work for sure. Trust us.
Yeah.
And so far, no. So...
it's disheartening.
Yeah.
That's I think probably the biggest problems with cancer research. It's like we've been treating cancer the same way, with this blunt forced hammer of radiating people and giving people, these chemo drugs and killing them just to the point where they're hanging on by a thread and the cancer's gone. It's like, we can't come up with a more advanced way. We're still using these primitive tools to attack this thing we've been dealing with for years.
We don't understand cancer. When I told you that my first research was in a cancer lab back in medical school in the 70s. And that was before we knew a lot about oncogenes or anything like that. And there was a theory from the previous century that cancer was due to abnormal mitosis. So when cells divide, the microtubules divide the chromosomes perfectly. Mm-hmm. And if they don't, you get too many over here, not enough here, or some kind of abnormal genotype leading to an abnormal phenotype, which could be cancer. And there was a German guy named Bovary who had this theory, and it was revived by a guy at UCSF named Duisberg, who was very controversial because he actually didn't think that HIV was caused by AIDS. So he got a bad name for that. But I think his theory of cancer of, what do you call it, from abnormal mitosis, he had another polyploidy or something like that, because you get too many sets of chromosomes. What was the origin of cancer? I think that might be right. So maybe it's all in making sure the mitosis happens properly instead of separating the chromosomes abnormally.
I wonder, when it comes to the microtubules, what the effects of hyperbaric oxygen would have on that, or if there'd be any correlation. Because I know hyperbaric oxygen is FDA approved for treating for wound healing.
Yeah.
And there's also, I don't know if it's proven, but I think it's accepted universally that hyperbaric oxygen can lengthen telomeres.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. I think that's treating a different problem. And,
yeah, for sure. But
I don't think, if it was tissue hypoxia or not enough oxygen, that'd be one thing. But there's no evidence that it does that. And I know people who are into it. But in medicine, it was like a fad. It's like, nah.
You get that same kind of euphoric feeling after hyperbaric oxygen that you were describing.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it could be obviously it is a completely different mechanism of action that's going on there.
Yeah. All I know is that in Tucson, one hospital had a hyperbaric chamber, then all the others were going to jump on board and get their own. And then after looking at it, they didn't bother. So it can't be that dramatic. Or maybe it's insurance doesn't pay for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or some combination.
Yeah.
But this wouldn't, for $150, these families, let me back up. There have been quite a few studies now on ultrasound for Alzheimer's, doing it various different ways, but with interesting results, getting improvement. For example, one group showed improved cognition. This is not our study. This is somebody else's study.
Yep.
And they got MRIs before and after. And they had a patient, for example, who had marked cortical atrophy. His brain had shrunk.
Cortical atrophy.
Yeah, the cortex actually shrunk because, again, the microtubules disassemble, so the neurons shrink, you lose synapses, so the neurons get smaller and the whole brain gets smaller. And so after treatment with ultrasound, his memory came back, his cognition improved, and they got a repeat MRI, and the cortex had grown back, and it got bigger again. And the only way I could figure that is by stimulating the microtubules to repolymerize and quite literally flesh out the brain and the neurons again and reestablish synapses. So that's pretty impressive. And there have been a lot of studies now showing improvement. And there are several reviews of large-scale studies with many patients, and very, very safe. I think no significant adverse effects, more than a couple minutes of maybe local irritation or something like that in like 3 out of 700 patients. So low intensity, it's quite safe.
Yeah.
And it seems to be potentially beneficial. There's no reason it's not being used, at least tried. And even if it just helps somewhat, it doesn't cause any problem. Sterling had a patient that he said that, so he deals a lot of times with the family. And the kids taking care of their parents or grandparents, and he said they had one patient, and the guy didn't speak. He had lost ability to speak. It was nonverbal, so he didn't say anything. Just kind of sat there, and they were kind of getting a little frustrated. He said, "Well, keep going." After 3 months, he started speaking again. After 3 months of ultrasound.
Had he spoken previously?
No, not for years and years. Yeah, before
something happened.
We got Alzheimer's. He stopped. Yeah, the Alzheimer's took away his verbal skills, and but after a couple months, so it took a while because probably that's pretty far gone. So it shows that even if they're pretty far gone, they may come back if you persist long enough, because the microtubules grow back by themselves at 1 millimeter per day. So with ultrasound, maybe faster. So it may take a while.